Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson again, and today we're going to continue our studies. This time it's about inequalities. We're going to solve them and graph them. So an inequality is a problem with more than one solution. There are some comparison symbols that we need to know. The first one is less than. That's the less than symbol. The graphing symbol that goes with that is an open circle. Greater than is the opposite direction, pointing towards the right, and it's also an open circle when we graph that. The equal to symbol we've seen before, but that has a colored in circle when we graph. Not equal to is the equal to symbol with a line slash through it, and the graphing symbol for that is an open circle. Less than or equal to, notice it's the less than symbol with a line underneath it, which is coming from the equal sign, and the symbol for graphing is a closed-in circle, colored in. For greater than or equal to, it's the opposite direction, going to the right, and with a line underneath it as well, implying that it's equal to. And the graphing symbol is also a colored-in circle. So I notice all the ones that have equal to have color in their circle. The ones that do not have equal to have no color in their graphing circle. So not equal to is not colored in, as well as greater than and less than. So they are not colored in. The equal to, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to are colored in circles. So those are important points you must know when graphing. So let's get going. So we've seen this problem before, solve and graph for the solution. What number plus 6 equals 10? Well, we know that number would obviously be 4. So y equal 4, because 4 plus 10, 4 plus 6 is 10. And our graphing symbol we have to use would be the colored in circle, because we would just draw a dot and on that point. So our answer would be just 4, and we would just put a dot or a colored in circle on the 4 to graph it. But when we're graphing inequalities, there's more than one answer. For example, here we have 5. A number plus 5 is less than 10. So what numbers plus 5 is less than 10? Well, there are a lot of answers. I could think of 0 as one of the answers. 0 plus 5 is 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. That's less than. So I got a lot of different answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solve this as I normally would by subtracting 5 from both sides. So 10 minus 5 would give me 5. My 5's canceled out on this side. And 10 minus 5 is 5. So I'd have y less than 5 as my solution. So I have to figure out what numbers are less than 5. So let's make this a little bit bigger. As I mentioned earlier, 0 was an answer, so I could put a dot on 0. 1 was an answer. I could put a dot on 1, but I'm going to graph this a little bit differently because I have a lot of numbers that are less than 5. So I'm going to put an open circle, because if you remember in our vocabulary, we use the open circle because we're talking about less than, because 5 would not be less than 5. 5 is equal to 5. So that's why we have an open circle, so we don't want to include the 5. So notice the numbers that I mentioned, 1 and 2 and 0, they're going towards the left. And notice our arrow goes to the left and it looks just like the less than symbol. So that would be the graph of this inequality. So we would solve it like a regular equation, but we would graph it using our symbols. Notice how the symbol here, less than, matched up with the symbol over here in the direction. So here's a problem for you to quiz yourself on. Solve and graph on the number line, x minus 4 greater than 2. Check your understanding. If you need to rewatch the video, please do. Bring your questions in. I'll be glad to answer them. Let's take it up a further step. Here we have to solve and graph for the solution. 3y minus 6 is greater than or equal to 0. So here we have a two-step inequality. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 6 to both sides. So plus 6 to both sides. And oops, let's get that cloned. Okay, so 0 plus 6 will give me 6. Because on this side, let's get my pen. Where's my pen? My 6's canceled out. 0 plus 6 gave me 6. And I have 3y greater than or equal to 6. Now I'll make believe it's equal to 6 for a second. And I know I'm supposed to divide both sides by 6. So we divide by 3. So let's divide by 3 real quick. So divide by 3. Divide by 3. The 3's cancel out. And I would have y equal to 2. So my value would be y is equal to 2, but I didn't use the equal to sign. I used the greater than or equal to sign. So since I have y greater than or equal to, and let's get that symbol. So we have our answer, y greater than or equal to 2. So now what numbers are greater than or equal to 2? Well, 3 is greater, 4 is greater, 5 is greater. So we got a lot of numbers that are greater than or equal to 2. So we can graph those, but let's remember we're using the greater than or equal to symbol. Here we have an equal to symbol, so that means when we go to the 2, we're going to use the colored in circle because it has a line underneath it. And a quick way I say to remember, if it has a line underneath it, then it's colored in. If it has no line underneath the comparison symbol, then there's no color. So when we graph our number y greater than or equal to 2, notice which direction it's pointing into, which is to the right. And let's connect it with a line. And there is our graph. So notice again, it's pointing to the right like our greater than or equal to symbol. So that's how you do a two-step. So here's another two-step for you to try. Give it a shot. 6y plus 3 less than negative 21. So try to graph it on your own. Check your understanding. If you have problems, write them down. I'll be glad to answer them in class. So let's move on to another problem. I want to take it a step further in graphing. See if you can recognize which inequality is represented by the graph below. This time I'm going a little bit backwards. If I give you the graph, can you recognize which one of these inequalities is it? Well, I'll give you a hint. Remember I said if you look at the symbol, the arrow, it's the same direction that it's going in your comparison symbol. So notice it's going to the right, so I'm automatically going to eliminate a couple of them because they're going to the left. B is gone because it's going to the left, and C is gone because it's going into the left. So only A and D are going to the right, like the comparison symbol. So which one do I pick though? Well, that's based on the circle that's colored in. So the one that's colored in lets us know that it's going to have a line underneath it. Because if you remember, I said if you have a line underneath it, that means your circle is colored in. If there's no line, like A, then there's no color. So that's why A is eliminated, because there was no line, so there should be no color. But it's colored in, so our answer choice is going to be D. So check yourself, see if you're having problems with this. Go over the vocabulary once again. This is good practice. Here's another question for you. See if you can get it. So bring your questions in tomorrow. I'll be glad to answer them. This is Dr. Robinson. I hope you got something out of it. So next time we'll talk more about inequalities. Bye-bye.